Okay, so today I'm going to be doing the long overdue review on Apple's new iPad. Now this is the 64 gig Wi-Fi N3G. Now I thought that I would hold off the review for a while because I know a lot of people jump into it the day after and it's not really, they can't give a full review on it. A lot of people, like I said, jumped into it way too quick. Now this is obviously overdue. I was planning on doing it a couple of days ago, but I got new internet installed. We're going to start with the cons and then leave on the pros, just so we leave on a good note, obviously. So we're just going to head straight into the review now of the iPad. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is there's a huge screen on it. Now, it is not a giant iPod Touch. Now, a lot of people are saying it is, and fair enough, it's very similar to one, but I would honestly say it's nothing like an iPod Touch. Okay, so you can see the display is 1024 by 768, I believe. So I'm just going to enter my password, and you're presented with your home screen right here once you unlock your device. Now you can see how much clearer this is and how much more spaced and just nice this is compared to the iPhone. Now obviously the entire iPad I think measures in about 9 inches. Now just a size comparison, you can see my 3GS is actually charging right now. This is my old white 3G, but that's a size comparison right there. Now I don't have the iPhone 4 yet. That's going to be released in a month in Australia, so we'll be getting that. The iPad is significantly larger than the iPhone, as you can see. Okay, so one of the first cons that I've noticed with the iPad is that the games are not fully developed yet to basically take everything the iPad has and make a smooth, fluent game out of it. They aren't fully using the hardware to its capable extent, I guess. And a good example would be Avatar the game. So I'll just switch this here so you can see. So as you can see, the game is pretty laggy. In general, it's pretty good, but if you get into some of the, it's kind of hard to turn as well. But if you get into some of the action-packed bits, and you see that, hold on, yeah, you can see that the gun lags a bit. The noises come too early, and it just, I don't think games are there just yet. Granted, there are some great games like Angry Birds HD, which doesn't lag and it takes full advantage of the hardware. So I'm just going to have a quick game. We'll just go to 11. So you can see that's perfect there, no frame loss or anything. That was a shit shot, but yeah, I'll go ahead and get out of that. And one more example, and I highly recommend it, is Let's Golf HD. Now this game's amazing, the graphics are incredible. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip this. So you can see the graphics are just incredible on this. So to shoot, kind of hard to do it with one hand, but yeah, it follows the ball flying there. It's pretty crazy. You can also put spin on it as well. Pretty amazing game, but for the most part the games aren't fully developed just yet, which is kind of a big downfall because most people buy it not only as a netbook replacement, but it's also as an entertainment device. Okay, so the next con is that the touch isn't as responsive as its iPhone counterpart. Now a lot of people are going to argue and say it is. In my personal opinion, I don't think it's as good as the iPhone keyboard. But it is pretty nice. It's nice as space because you can sort of prop it up on your lap and sort of type like you would a keyboard. So the next con is that it has limited charging capabilities. Now a lot of motherboard manufacturers are coming out with charging capabilities with it. Some older Macs can't charge the iPad because it requires 10 watts. It's significantly higher than the iPhone's charging, which kind of sucks. Now, another con is there are actually a few bugs on the operating system that I've noticed. Now, YouTube has a problem where it keeps logging you out for some reason, which gets very annoying. The iTunes app has a problem, like I was watching Entourage before, and then Weeds before that, and every time I bought something and then went onto the home screen, when I went back into it, I had to log in again and again and again. And if you're watching a lot of TV shows or movies or whatever you want to watch, it becomes very annoying. So another con is that even though its pricing is pretty competitive, some people would have liked to see it a bit lower to compete with your netbooks, like for example this HP Mini, but sadly they kind of stayed at the same price point as the iPhone outright, which is $1,049 for the 64 gig Wi-Fi and 3G, I believe. Although I think it starts at 600 and something, 630 maybe. But yeah, I would have liked to see it a bit cheaper, and because that really would have helped push Apple to the next level on replacing the conventional netbook. Now, obviously another glitch in the operating system, which I don't run into that frequently, but it does happen on occasion, is that Safari sometimes freezes. Kind of sucks. So another pretty big con is that it lacks Flash support. Now, I know Apple's stance on this is they don't like Flash. They think that it's not that great of a platform. They're pushing or peddling HTML5, which is great, but the web is kind of built on Flash. Them abandoning it altogether is not really a good move, especially if they want to take out people who are using netbooks and they wanted to replace it with an iPad. Not the best move. Now, I know there are workarounds of it, like servers you can go on to and all the rest of that, but honestly, it should be built into the device. It is 2010. We should have Flash on it. Even though some people are really going to argue the point, the Apple fanboys are going to argue the point, but hey, that's my stance on it. It would have replaced a lot of netbooks if that would have had Flash, because I know that's a pretty big selling point for a lot of people. Another disappointment on the iPad is that 4.0 is going to be released substantially later than, well, it's already been released for the iPhone as of this moment, but it's going to be released substantially later for the iPad, and they really should have got their stuff together. They obviously knew they were working on it. They should have started production on 4.0 for the iPad as it was in development, and that was kind of a slack move from Apple there. Now, another con is that, I guess for avid readers, if you're reading a book, for example, it can be a bit weighty. It is heavier than a normal book, but if you only read a book for a couple of hours and then put it down, then you may not notice the weight. But for people who sit there all day, they're on vacation, they read it, that could be a big con for you. But otherwise, I really don't notice it. Another thing is, if you want to watch a TV show or movie in bed, and you normally have like a laptop that holds or props the screen up, and you can watch your TV show or your movie or whatever in bed comfortably, this is not the best. I mean, they should have added like a kickstand or something just to sort of hold it up. You know, holding it in your hands or propping it up on your lap is kind of annoying, and especially for extended periods of time. Now, I know a lot of cases do prop it up, but I don't actually own any of those cases, so I can't speak, but I wouldn't imagine they'd work too great in that type of scenario. Now, another pretty big con, not for me personally, but for some business users, is that the VGA support is very limited. A lot of people believe that it'll actually output what you see on the screen here, the home screen. It won't. Only the apps that are supported will output onto the screen. And that being said, like Keynote will go onto the screen through the VGA out, but if I went to Safari here, it wouldn't go onto the projector, which is kind of a downfall. Now, a very well-known con is that it's locked down severely by Apple. Unless you jailbreak it, which I have jailbroken, it is completely locked down by Apple. You're only going to get the apps they allow. Everybody knows about how strict they are with their acceptance and all the rest of that. Another con that I'm going to throw in there, just for jailbreakers, is that Cydia doesn't have that many iPad compatible apps just yet. So if you're a jailbreaker, you need to be knowledgeable on that. Okay, so now we're going to move into the pros. Now I'm going to go through them really quick because I don't need to explain them that much, because some of them are pretty obvious. Obviously, it has a much larger screen, than the iPhone. It's much crisper, easier to navigate. Safari, you don't need to zoom out to see the full web page. I'm just googling test here, so you can see you don't need to zoom out to view the full web page. It's already there. Same resolution as a netbook. And just to give you an example, or a size comparison rather, that's the netbook and that's the iPad there. Probably not the best size comparison. Now another pro is that the heating, there is no heating issues on this that I've come across. Really good in terms of heating. A lot of Apple products overheat. Plenty of them actually overheat. They haven't got the same problems with the iPad. The YouTube app has been updated and it's really good now. I gotta say, the YouTube app is excellent. You could actually use it as a replacement to the YouTube site on the iPad for the stuff that's not HTML5 compatible. So you can see there, you get all your subscribe to videos, which is awesome. You can see like top rated, most viewed, you know, all that type of stuff. Only problem is it's really slow for some reason over Wi-Fi, so that is a huge con for that app. That brings the entire app down. But if they improve the speed, that's a great app. Okay, so it has better graphics and a better CPU. Everybody already knows that. But it's running the A4 processor, which is the same as the iPhone 4 right now. Very fast, very snappy machine. I haven't run into any performance issues concerning that. It has very slim profiles. You can see right there, it's very slim. And for me, I think it's lightweight, but a lot of people are going to argue the point. It has better accessories than the iPhone. It's got the keyboard dock, that there. It's got the standard dock. It's got a wall charger adapter. It's got all these awesome accessories you can get, like the Griffin A stand. That's obviously a novelty pro, but yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff, then you're going to enjoy that. Obviously, the high resolution 1024 by 768 resolution screen. Magazines look amazing on it. I mean, there's plenty of pros on it. It's LED backlit. It has the 3G capability if you get the 3G model. It's environmentally friendly, like all Apple products, but yeah, you can go and look of its environmental specs if you're into that kind of stuff. It has a redesigned suite of the standard apps that you see on the iPhone, like Notes and Calendar and all that. They've redesigned all those apps specifically for the iPad to mimic the more desktop type of versions, and also iPod looks more like the desktop iTunes program. Now you have a user changeable wallpaper. Even though 4.0 is not going to come out for a while, they did throw in the user changeable wallpaper, which is long overdue, obviously. Now a huge pro for me is the orientation lock, because everybody knew how annoying it was to have the iPhone on the side and then you flip it here and it kept flipping. Obviously now on the side you have the switch over this side here to lock and unlock the orientation, which I use constantly. That's one of my most used features on the actual iPad. Now another pro in this is that the click buttons are actually separated, or at least they feel like they're separated. The speakers are 2.1 audio. They sound great, really good sounding speakers, which I was very impressed with actually. I thought they were going to be similar to the iPhone, but they're amazing, really good quality. Also, the microphone in this is amazing because I use Skype a lot of the time with backgrounding now that I've jailbroken it, and it sounds much like the Blue Snowball microphone. Now, hopefully they'll implement that into the iPhone 4. I don't actually have one just yet, so I can't speak on that, but the microphone is amazing on the iPad, which is really good. And you can actually make 3G calls, at least with Telstra here in Australia. You can make 3G Skype calls to home phones or mobiles like you would with the iPhone with the really good microphone, which is pretty cool, in my opinion. The iPad in Australia comes unlocked, so you can use any carrier that uses micro SIM, you know, obviously. The Wi-Fi chip is also very strong. The signal is, I gotta say, it's really good. Much like a laptop signal. The iPhone can be pretty weak at times, but I have noticed it's really strong Wi-Fi signal. The build quality is excellent. Now, I'm thrilled, you know, that they dumped the plastic 3GS type of look. as you can see here, and they went with the aluminum, which I loved. I loved the original iPhone, and I'm really glad that they implemented it onto the iPad, because it just gives it a more sturdy feel, and it just, in general, it does make the device look great. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the iPad, and if you liked the video, please subscribe for more, and please thumbs up the video, because it does actually help get the word out. So yeah, thanks for watching.